So a lot of people were upset that Samuel L. Jackson went to Twitter with some critique for the Colorado Buffs. This is what Comedy Hype reported about it and had to say.
Over the weekend, the Colorado Buffaloes would face off against the Oregon State Beavers, where the team head coached by Deion Sanders would fall short, bringing their overall record to 4-5. The loss gave critics of Deion Sanders another chance to bring down the team, and the latest games brought out an unlikely critic, Samuel L. Jackson. The iconic actor let his feelings out after the game on Saturday night, expressing his frustrations when it came to Colorado college football. Jackson took to Twitter, added "CU Buffs football," and wrote, "Brain farts all around. The OC can't call 3-run plays to get off the field. The DC can't get his guys to stop a baby carriage. Shilo can barely walk and is going to end up playing wheelchair football behind that O-line. My rage is better served watching villains in a good Bollywood movie. Shedeur, here I come. No more buff ball tonight." One user would comment to correct Jackson on misidentifying one of Sanders' sons. The user said, "Shedeur, I got them confused earlier too. Shilo is 21. And Jackson would respond to that message acknowledging his mistake. "Yes, that's right, and I'm also going to learn to spell it correctly also." Now, that wouldn't be the only time Jackson would respond directly to a fan in regards to CU football. One user specifically asked if he had anything to say about Deion and the way he handled coaching. The tweet read, "No criticism for the head coach, though, I see. Look, like he was just standing around watching. Did you see him using a mic or communicating with any other coach before the half was over?" And joining me in on this conversation, we have our very own Mr. John on Prime Mondays to talk all about Deion Sanders.
Prime Mondays, yeah. Man, let's get into it.
I'm ready. Okay, so let's start from the top, because it's a couple layers here. But we would see from Samuel Jackson's account, Twitter account.
Yep.
Personally, for me, I'm convinced that it's probably not him. I'm hoping that he got hacked.
Man. Why are you trying to get him out?
I'm not trying to give him. If it's him, I have words. Okay. But it just doesn't seem like it's very weird and out of the blue.
Right, which is why I'm about to lay it up on him.
Yeah, so what's your reaction when you saw these tweets come from Samuel Jackson, who I feel like we barely hear from?
Right.
What was your reaction?
You're making my point, exactly. You know, one thing I can't stand when it comes to certain people is that when they highlight the times you get it wrong or the time you get it wrong. Because that also means that if you are a fair person, you're going to also acknowledge my accomplishments. And so when I went to your Twitter, Mr. Samuel Jackson, I have not seen you support Deion at any point of this run that he's at Colorado. So it just makes me wonder, like you said, where is this coming from? Like, why would you express something like that? And particularly as a Black Hollywood star, you are someone that is seen to be as a success story yourself. You played Coach Carter, which was about a Black coach facing opposition.
Yeah.
So the irony of, like, why would you even get up on there and not figure out how can I align with Deion?
Yeah.
And I think that's a big issue for me because, like, honestly, Samuel, like, you got some hits, but you got some flops too. Let's keep it a buck. Now, all your movies have grossed the amount of money that has went into the investment part of it.
Right.
And those are considered failed movies. That means your investor did not make their money back, but they put money behind you. So should we stop seeing your movies? Should we criticize you? Because I even seen articles where you aren't really open to criticism. There's been times when you have spoken out when people put out their conversation about different things, maybe regarding your career. So I just think that it was interesting to see you and people like that criticize Deion.
Yeah.
You know, and y'all know where I stand, that I still believe in what I believe with Deion. But it just was like whack.
Yeah.
It was just like, why are you even speaking? You know?
And I think that's my thing where I'm just like, I'm not trying to give him an out, but it just doesn't fit, because even when I think about like Samuel Jackson and Deion, I don't know why I want to say Deion, but Denzel Washington, like, those are two people I feel like I rarely hear from unless like they have something going on or something like that. And I didn't even think about Samuel Jackson having a Twitter account.
Very rare.
So to me, I'm just like, it feels hackish, like either, you know, they're doing it, like his team did it to spark something, to maybe get some eyes on him, but I'm waiting for the post to come out to say Samuel Jackson's Twitter was hacked.
Listen, I know we are brothers and sisters, and we should root for each other and not try to tear each other down. But when a product is lacking, people are allowed, when they invest their time, their money, and they invested in this team, as Prime talked us up to be invested in this team, which I'm still invested. I ain't jumped off the bandwagon, but I am frustrated to see them keep losing. And you saw so many people mad that he went from an HBCU to Colorado. Charleston White went off and this, that, and another because all the celebrities not supporting. But I told y'all, celebrities aren't going to support if you don't win. That's the only reason everybody was rallying around this situation. People love winners. And you mix that with the swag and the confidence that Prime had, it was explosive, Now, he's going through some struggles right now, but when he starts winning again, he'll get support again. But we are all feeling the frustration right now. And I feel like just because we black, that shouldn't stop us from being able to say that. I don't know if Samuel Jackson's Twitter account was hacked or not. Because, just like Abba was saying, he didn't have to say anything. But he's also a sports fan. It's like I watch my Lions every year put up a terrible product on the field. We finally having a good year where we doing some things. We moving and shaking. But we got smacked by the Ravens. And you know what I'm saying? It's like, just because we get smacked don't mean I can't say what's wrong with the team. If I'm a part of this, if I'm paying into this, I'm buying Lion gear and I'm watching the games when they come on. If I'm a fan, I got a right to say what I feel about this team. It's just like the Chad Ochocinco thing with Keith Lee. And Chad got so upset about Keith Lee voicing his opinion about black restaurants, but he didn't dive deeply into the notion that Keith Lee does a lot of great things for these restaurants, keeps a lot of them open when they were about to close and this, that, and other. But he's a food critic. Just because it is our restaurants don't mean that they are above criticism. And I get that we don't need to tear each other down, but we also need that critique to build each other up. And I know you say, like, how was that, right? Because they was like, John Abba and Symphony was just like, oh, it's whack that he said that, and I hope that his account is hacked because otherwise he didn't have to say anything. People didn't critique this movies before too. Yeah, I critiqued Samuel Jackson movies as well. And I'm sure they have as well. Now, they said there was times where he didn't like the critique. Listen, it is what it is. When people don't like the critique, it is what it is. But is it the truth or not? Because there's some truth, however people see it, there's some truth to it because the Buffs is 4-5 right now. And they're on a slope. They're on a slide to keep losing. We don't want to see this, so everybody is like giving their thoughts on the situation. Everybody putting some seasoning in the pot, so to speak. And like I said with the Chad Ochocinco video, it needs to happen. Now, Chad feel like, what's your credentials to be a food critic and all that? You don't need no credentials. Simply your taste buds. You go to the restaurant, you paid your hard-earned money. If the food is bad, if it's over salty and the chicken is dry and this, that, and other, I think you're allowed to say that. If no one does say that, how is the restaurant supposed to know to do better? To stop putting so much salt in the chicken? To stop overcooking it? Because if you just tell them they're doing a great job, which is what Chad was suggesting, he's just going to go around Atlanta and tell all the restaurants they're doing a great job. No, when people have bad customer service, they need to know about it. They need to know about it. And unfortunately, social media is the way that is spread in this day and age. Now, can you be more quiet about it and go and be like, hey, man, tell the manager, hey, the food wasn't that good, the service was bad. I think you need to check that out. But there's no way to do that to a Deion Sanders. Like, what is Samuel Jackson going to do? Like, call Deion personally and get on the phone and be like, hey, man, why wasn't you talking to the coaches on there? You know what I'm saying? Just let's keep it a buck. He's going to voice his opinion on social media like anybody else. Now, this may be out of character. This may be his account was hacked. Just like we remember Steve Harvey's account was hacked when he was like, what's the worst comedians of all, top 5 worst comedians. And he like, that ain't my brand. And if it's hacked, that's fine. But I'm saying, if it wasn't hacked, I felt like in Steve's case too, yeah, it was a little off brand, but is it a conversation that people have? Yes. People often be like, man, such and such sucks. And is it a conversation about food that people have? Yeah. We might support these businesses that we like. We be like, oh, I'm about to go over here and buy because what's the name selling this, that, and the other. But then when you get back in the car and taste it, you be like, man, these ribs was so terrible. You be telling the truth in the car. I threw them ribs threw them out of my car. I wouldn't even feed them to my dog. And, you ain't got to go that hard on social media, I would say, but the critique is still needed. Prime, we got to do better. I'm still riding with y'all, but it's just balancing out. We saw TCU, like I say, not look like they looked last year. We thought TCU was something higher than what they are. Now they like 4-4. So I think everybody jumped out the window when we saw that Colorado beat TCU, and we was just overly excited, like, oh, we about to go crazy. And then it just didn't turn out to be the case. So now things are balancing out. It's showing that Colorado ain't the powerhouse just yet that you thought they were. But he's still made the focal point of all of sports about Colorado for them first 3-4 games. You understand what I'm saying? So he did some very powerful things with this team, and he's going to continue to do that. I'm not jumping off the bandwagon, but I'm saying, hey, Prime, we love y'all, but you, shedeur, Shilo, the whole squad, you're not above criticism. You know what I'm saying? Got to get this work, just like Stephen A. gave him that work in order to get better. But this is your boy P. Camp. Let me know what you think, what you don't think. Get at your boy.